Hey Gold Rush fans, well, I feel it's time that we do a Legends video here. And to start it off, there'd be no better way than doing this by having John Schnabel himself being the very first video. Let's start where it all began. John was born in Kansas in February 1920, where his family farmed wheat. Just a typical family farm in the early 20th century. Everyone in the family was expected to help with day-to-day chores, and honestly, I feel this is where John built his work ethic at an early age. When the Depression hit the United States in 1929, it severely impacted the Schnabel farm. In fact, they ended up losing the farm due to the Depression. This unfortunately happened to a lot of Americans during that time. John Schnabel's father began bootlegging alcohol during the Prohibition, to provide for his family. Bootlegging is an illegal manufacturing, sale, or distribution of goods, and in this case, specifically alcohol. This was honestly something I felt that, in desperate times calls for desperate measures. Eventually, the law would catch up to John's father, and instead of going to trial, or even worse, jail, the Schnabels left Kansas and went to California, to Washington, and then finally to Oregon. John's parents divorced when John was 11, and his father, he headed up to Alaska. With John's father leaving for Alaska, a young John Schnabel became the breadwinner for his family. And at the age of 12, he had his first job as a paperboy, earning what money he could to help provide for his family. Now, let's fast forward a few years here. In 1939, at the age of 19, John followed his father up to Alaska. John boarded a steamship and arrived in Haines, Alaska in March of 1939. Haines, Alaska was his destination, and he began working on a sawmill with his father. For the next 2 years, John and his father worked at this sawmill together. An unfortunate event in December 7th, 1941, the bombing of Pearl Harbor happened, bringing the United States into the Second World War. John left his job at the sawmill, and he joined the United States Navy Air Corps, and would serve as a bomber mechanic in the South Pacific. After his time in service, he returned back to Haines, Alaska, and married his love, Irma Dyer, in August of 1950, and together having 5 children and several grandchildren. In 1984, John bought his first claim at Porcupine Creek, in which later he would name it Big Nugget Mine. Gold prices at this time were $308 per troy ounce. Not too bad. From that time on, John was getting, a great reputation as a gold miner. John mentioned that in one section of his claim, he found 50 ounces of gold and several nuggets in one day. And that is when he changed the mine to Big Nugget Mine. John would pass his knowledge on to his kids and then their kids. And one of them, ended up being Parker. Parker joined his grandfather at Big Nugget Mine each summer and worked alongside him and the men that his grandfather employed. Seems to me like this was a, pretty great experience for a new miner and honestly, a great opportunity to spend time with his grandfather. In 2010, Gold Rush started and John became, in my opinion, a household name, and so did his grandson Parker, who honestly had more knowledge than the guys that were mining there. If you remember, that was the first Team Hoffman. In 2011, John's health began to fail him, and he passed Big Nugget Mine on to his grandson Parker. And Parker did jump at the opportunity, to find the big nuggets again. John would stay on as an advisor for Parker. Being young and being a mine boss meant there was a lot of responsibilities that the young boss would have to take on. Through patience and time, Parker would evolve into the miner we all know today. John's health was kind of a back and forth battle. In season 2, John would suffer another heart attack, and this was the official time when Parker took over Big Nugget. More cardiac surgeries would follow, along with a pacemaker. John, still made time for his grandson Parker and was able to be there for any advice that he needed. John unfortunately did pass away in his sleep on March 18th, 2016, at the age of 96, surrounded by his family. John was a survivor of the Great Depression, a World War II veteran, a miner, a mayor, a father, a husband, and a grandfather. The best way we can say at the end of our lives is that we lived each day to the fullest, loved till our hearts were full, and we let the ones that we love most know each and every day. All right, everybody, this has been a Gold Rush Minute. If you like the content, please click that subscribe button that's on your screen. Here is, I feel, the true reason why Todd Hoffman is failing in Hoffman Family Gold. Till the next time.